What up, everybody? It's me, Mr. Right, here with a martial arts brutality Wing Chun video. Hopefully, this gives y'all some tips on what you could do to improve your Wing Chun game, and or just give you a little bit more insight. So, with everything, there's pros and cons to every discipline in the game. One of the hardest cons of Wing Chun is that every you get a mulligan. You get one mulligan a turn. With Wing Chun, you can only put back one card. That if you have a handful of good combo pieces but no way to access them, you're gonna have a bad time. So be mindful of that. Is one of the biggest things about this particular discipline. Not only that, but you start with 3 adrenaline, so you'll have access to a lot of attacks early on and a lot of countering early on. I'm going to put points into things that you could consider. However many points is what works for you. I'm going to put points in all of those. That's definitely a good possibility. Definitely that. This, and this, and maybe that. Now, with all of these top 5. First, we're just gonna go with the speed and power of both hand and feet. Those two are great. Speed. Wing Chun is one of the fastest attacking, but the weakest of all of the martial arts in this game. Um, putting it putting points into speed is great. Putting power into your attacks is better. So if I were to go to a ratio of 2 to 1, I would go 1 in speed, 2 in power. Definitely, it is a fragile thing, fragile art. So bone strength and joint strength, I would prioritize joints over bones, because bones are harder now to break throughout all the classes, and joints are definitely harder to break. But like I said, every martial art has a con, and joints are they're your foundation of your attacks. If one of those is broken, that shuts down a lot of your attacks. Let's say somebody broke your shoulder, that shuts down that entire attack arsenal on that left or right arm. How you differentiate what side is what, down the middle, 4 cards to the left, 4 cards to the right, or whatever the cards are there. Let's go to practice. Yeah, directly down the middle. All cards to the left are your left side. All cards to the right are your right side. Now, if you're on the right, uh, then your right side is on the left and your left side is on the right. If you're on the right, then same thing. Your right side is your right side. Your left side is your left. So, um, let's go back to the deck. I don't have any Wing Chun. I don't find it to be one of my favorites. I do love Taekwondo, even though it's one of the hardest. I do love the Marine style, even though again it's one of the hardest. But as y'all can see, I main a lot of karate. My best deck that I've had almost since day one is King Kyona Senshi, and then Kansetsu Hakai. Uh, I forgot. King Kyona is like Humble Warrior, and Kansetsu, Kansetsu Hakai is like I forgot. So there's different ways that I build decks. So I'm gonna let you in on that. The first one is a straightforward deck, as in you have one way to win. Your one way to win in this deck is by breaking their joints. I'm going for elbows, wrists, and ankles mostly. If you break 2 ankles, in both elbows, you win. I think if you break both ankles and an elbow and a wrist, you win. Um, if you break Now, for whatever reason, shoulders aren't necessarily counted as a joint; they're counted as arm bones. So that's why I don't include shoulders too much into my counter game. With karate, the counter game is usually how you will win. In Wing Chun, you're kind of like a beehive. So that's a very uh, straightforward deck. This one is more two win conditions. That's what I always go for, is two win conditions in most things. Um, Ankle, you got joints, and then you got upper spine. This is more about controlling my opponent with breaking down their shoulders and wrists so they can't hit me with hand attacks, but elbow attacks. Sometimes if you break a wrist, then they can attack you with the elbow. If you break an ankle, they can still attack you with a knee. If you break a shoulder or a pelvis, they can't attack you at all with that arm or leg. So I don't worry too much about knees because not too many people put knees uh, in their decks. I go about 15, 15, 15 blue cards, chi boost cards, and 15 attacks. Sometimes a little over, so I can, because with karate, uh, if you attack 4 times, you'll get a .6 added on to your adrenaline, so you don't have to completely focus on attacking a lot. Unlike Wing Chun, where you have to focus on attacking a lot, you only get .2, I think, adrenaline per turn if you do not attack. So you have to do about 8 attacks to get to the next adrenaline. I would definitely focus on um, head attacks, going for these 5: teeth, ears, nose, throat, and jaw. You get those 5, you're almost guaranteed to win, even if you don't break or destroy them all. You have to destroy, I want to say, 4 and severely injure the 5th to some degree. Um, yeah. So with that, Wing Chun has a pretty good setup when it comes to defending. So you don't have to worry too much about others attacking you all the time. You kind of want them to attack you. Um, if you don't, then shut them down with joint counters. And another good thing would be uh, any of these counter chi cards here. Definitely going with the chi free, at least one chi. I always put at least one chi freeze in my decks if I can help it. Chi stealing, since you start at 3, you can start stealing all of your opponent's chi, and that can really shut them down. So you don't want to freeze them. You can just keep stealing with 18 and 12 is what, 30. And then you got the other chi steal with 10 is 40, and then you got 45. You can stole almost all your opponent's chi if they didn't boost within the first round. Never drain, never drain. That it never helps you in the end game. You want them to attack, so they build up chi. Then you could steal it from them. Adrenaline, that's more of a stalling thing. Up to you. Speed drain. Excuse me. Again, that is up to you. Power drain. That is not a bad thing to do, especially with Wing Chun, being that you're fragile. Any of the dim mocks, I would recommend, just because you can get around their impeccable defenses, and you can cheese your way because these are 25 per, but it'll take 5 turns. Excuse me, yeah, it'll take 5 turns for that 25 to accumulate. Yes, these do stack, so highly recommend if that's what you want to go for. Um, But to compensate, definitely go with the joints, as in the wrist, the ankles. Definitely ankles and wrists over shoulders and pelvis and knees. Ankles, elbows and wrists. Those are the trifecta. You can't go wrong with those. With the main deck, try to avoid any of the first level adrenaline stuff, because those are all directly down the middle. They will be blocked, and it is, yeah. Get out of here. Thank you. Um, so yeah, with I'll put one copy of each of the recommended cards I would say you should put in. It could be whatever you have, however much you want to put in. Um, try to go over why. Let's see. Maybe. Okay. So with speed boost, that's a definite. You are faster. You're already the fastest. Now, why not capitalize on that? Adrenaline boost. You could put like two or three of those in there. You're already starting at three, but why not have access to the heavier and faster cards that you'll be using later on anyway? Getting early access to those really puts you ahead of the curve. Card cooldown. The cooldown time with Wing Chun cards is already exceptionally slow, so you gotta be mindful of that. Having your cards cool down faster, great. Chi channel, chi channel. It basically reactivates your chi cards. You already have a lot of time to do stuff, so go ahead, reactivate those cards. Be fast, be furious. The short block line, impeccable, and it is one of the greatest cards to have. It shortens your attack line. It does not stack with others, so don't go using it over and over thinking it's going to get smaller and smaller. It gets smaller once. With that, it's three. So definitely would recommend, almost require putting those in this deck. No counters, that helps you attack more, less often getting countered because you are fragile. Chi shake, almost as good as short block line. You're already fast, so having a visually hard to block attack, yes. Block fog, same thing. Not, I don't think it's as good as chi shake, but it's maybe like a point 0.2 down as far as rating, but it's just as good. Chi strike shield stops you from getting your chi frozen, or any of these negative chi attacks from happening. Power, you're already attacking at a 1 for the most part. Some other attacks, as in your main attack deck, are higher, but those are also the higher costing adrenaline cards. Clear cooldown, it's again just to make attacks accessible again. Chi boost, that is almost a necessity to have in almost every deck, um, simply because you don't generate chi like that. So that is a definite must to start ramping up those. Cleanse their mock, just in case if they counter you and get past your chi shield, and you got to cleanse that stuff off, especially if it's been stacking. It clears all dim mock on you, so if you've had stacks on you, you can go ahead and clear all of those off. Iron shirt, I don't like it, but if you have a hard time defending, it does come in a pinch for blocking one attack. As far as any of these chi strike attacks, it's completely up to you and your play style. Would definitely recommend the chi stealing, but again, these are directly down the middle, so it'll be hard for you to actually get one off. But with the short block line, chi shake, and boost, even a straight line is kind of hard to block sometimes. Don't worry about freezing unless that's what you really want to do, but just go for the lower end ones. Dem mocks are all good for making a Wing Chun deck. You don't want to go for too many because they're so high cost. Ones I would definitely recommend are the jugular, the lungs, and the brain. Which brain? I would definitely go for that one because that one's it's kind of like I saw it coming. I don't know where it's going. Maybe that's a maybe. Um, there used to be one that was 35 a piece, but I think they took that out. As far as attacks, I would definitely recommend going all things jugular because those attacks are hard to block. With these two, the Tormented Blizzard Chop and the Sacred Tornado Chop, going between these two really, really confuses your opponent. This one is kind of easy to block, being that it kind of swivels up directly down the middle. But then you got the Crushing Panther sidekick, which gives a swerve or a bit of a curve there, which, not to mention the block line is kind of hard to get even on its regular attack. So short block lines will be your friends. Chi shakes are a definite. I would definitely go with joints as a secondary attack method. Going for the knees it's an option, but with the knees you need to get through the kneecap first. The kneecap is you're trying. It's kind of like a Kevlar vest. You don't get to the target unless you get through the vest first. So you get through the vest, you'll easily get through to the knee. So keep that in mind. Ankles are a definite. As you can see, a lot of these things are low attacks, right? So you have to gradually build up to the fourth. Once you get to four, you're golden, right? If you didn't want to go that route, definitely going with the eyes is another good one to have because some of these attacks are right around your ballpark with attack and speed. Now again, all these eye attacks seem good on paper, but with their defense lines always being close to the middle, they will be hard to block. So in the end, whatever you build it to the best of your abilities to what cards you have. Always keep in account that you don't always have to attack numerous amount of times. You can do 2 to 4 attacks and be all right, because then you'll still have that point 2. So then the next round you'll do 2 or 4 attacks, and then you'll be to the 4th adrenaline. Be patient with yourself. Always just really be patient with yourself. Even though you're fast, you're very squishy. So hopefully that helps. Any questions, comments, leave them in the comments section, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.